was Buck, everybody. We back again, and what a week it has been. Last episode was kind of crazy, right? Well, we got more coming. If you was mad at the last one, you definitely gonna be mad when I keep going. So, welcome back to Krump Inc. Let's get it, Buck.
Ta-da! He is not the self-proclaimed creator of Krump. He is the creator of Krump.
When it's Krump, kingdom radically uplifted by the praise.
Fire. Do everything with fire from right now until the last breath, because there's nothing that can stop you.
I was 11 years old when this happened to me. I did not have a dream. I did not have no goal.
Who's driving the machine?
He is the creator of this day.
So today for Buck History Month, I will be explaining to the best of my ability and from my perspective, because I was there when clowning turned into Krump, or how did Krump come out of clowning? How the heck did Krump get here? Well, there's a story behind that. And to the best of my ability, I remember it like this. Everybody was clowning. Like, clowning was the only thing popping. I did not create clowning. I don't know who created clowning. But when I got into clowning, it looked like a whole bunch of trendy dances for entertainment. I didn't even know what trendy dances were. That's just my reference now. But it looked like a whole bunch of dance moves, very difficult for somebody who does not know how this works. And you just put them together and you do it in a very exciting way. And it had a formula, like you go into your round with the clown walk, which was just crip walking. You know, you just put clown on it so it could be more entertainment and so you don't get shot for saying it. So you had the clown walk, aka the crip walk. And then you had something that just doesn't happen now with the guys. It was bake shaking. This is before it was called twerking. Like, girls and guys was bake shaking. It was in there. You can't do that no more, but it was in there. So you would have to do this. This was a thing. This was a basic. Think about it. Think about it. You think you so Buck? What about if you had to bake shake? What about it? If you look on the clowning roster, this is what it was. Bake shaking was a part of it. Guys and girls. Hey, thank God for Krump, right? But I'm getting ahead of myself. I digress. You're bake shaking, you're clown walking, you're Harlem shaking, you're heel toeing, and you do what we call the bangs, but that came later. So you clown walk, you bake shake, you Harlem shake. Oh my God. And the people go wild. I don't know who made up that formula. Then you had the accessories like the tails and the cowboy hats, the shredded shirts, the backpacks. It was about accessories, fun times, excitement. Like, little kids was doing this. I was a teenager just coming back from New Jersey at the time. I stayed in New York, East Orange, New Jersey, and Mount Vernon, New York, like back and forth. I was going to school in East Orange, and I would go visit my family back in Mount Vernon. So I was making that drive, and there was no dancing like that out there. I get here to, LA. I'm from LA, but I never saw this besides crip walking, and that's gangsta. It's not high energy. It's like it's a cool energy. And I'm seeing this like, what the heck is this? And y'all know my story. I thought that this was the thing that I had done when I was 11 when the spirit came upon me, but clowning wasn't it. And I found this out the hard way. Got into it. Started off with Lay Low Clowns. Tommy was the highest clown group. He had all the top-notch A-list celebrity clowns. When you saw them, it looked like they were doing something that nobody else in this world could do, and it made you want to do it. So when you came in, they gave you the basics. You got the clown walk. Your walk's got to be on point. Now, everybody could have a form of clown walking, but you don't have the details. It kind of happens like that in Krump now. You got the form, but no sauce. We're clown walking. With the Harlem Shake, it was from this video that we saw. People was Harlem shaking. I don't know where it comes from, but we was doing it. And then we'll bake shake. So we had the West Coast, East Coast, all the coasts. Sometimes you do a little hip roll. I don't know what that is called. Before I knew what dance hall was, we had the dance hall music though. I love the reggae music. I love the dance hall music. I like the Afro beats vibe. We always danced to this at parties. But when we were clowning, we had these things. Tommy was popping, like pop. He was doing that. Tommy was flipping. He was doing the magic tricks. It was called Tommy and the Hip Hop Clowns. But clowning as a whole, as a culture, it was these things as far as how you do the dance. Like, how do you go clowning? When you go clowning, you go in with your clown group, you're in the truck, you hop out the truck, and you do these formulas. And if you're good at it, we'll be able to tell. That's the culture it was in. As it got older, I came into it, and I had to get with the program. I had to learn how to translate the crip walk. I knew how to crip walk. You know, I seen my mom was hanging around people that were definitely gang members. So you learn a thing or two, learn how to play dominoes with them. So we're crip walking, and I'm just learning the moves because it looks cool. And then that translates into clown walking. Like, dang, okay, it's much more difficult. Breaking their ankles and doing all this. I'm like, okay, well, I have to try. And I practiced it, and I remember the heel toe. This was a dance move that I was taught. I was taught the heel toe. How do you do this? And it was, you could ask any clown dancer there was. The heel toe was a entry. Like, you had to learn how to do the heel toe. If you didn't know how to do the heel toe, we don't even look at your walks. Like, you have no walks. Heel toe, it took me about a week to learn that heel toe. And when I learned it, I was doing it walking down the street at the mall. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was heel toeing. I thought, like, with this move, nobody would be able to defeat me. Then you see people like Uno, El Nino, and La Nina. You're like, what's clown walking again? Because they on another level with it. So these were like the legends of the clown realm. El Nino, La Nina, Swoop, Uno. Larry was in there, but Larry was like the performer. But we looked to El Nino, we looked to La Nina, then you got the little crew, which was Twister, the Bops, the Little Bops, the Blacks, and we looked at them like, what the heck? But this is after I'm getting in, knowing the culture. So Krump was non-existent. Even though that had happened to me, the movement of it was non-existent. Everybody was clowning. Everyone. Krump was not heard about. It was not danced about. We're all doing this for years and years, and most of the old relationships that we had was built off of this clowning thing. Everybody wanted to be the top clown. Tommy was the top. I was a part of a group called Lay Low, real low, like low, to where you couldn't see us at the bottom. We were the wackest clown group that ever existed, but we had numbers. Remind you of something? I digress. But we were the wackest clown group. I started off from the wackest of the wackest, and you had to work your way up. There was a ranking. There was an order. This is where, like, clowning had principles that I was like, okay, everything kind of works the same way. If I'm going to get into this gang, I'm going to have to work my way up. I'm not going from, entry-level gangbanger to the boss. I'm not. You're not doing that in clowning either. You had to be around. All the clown dancers used to meet up to battle. And it was all types of battles, just battles over here, battles over here. One was called the Soda Pop, and one was called Club Clowning. These were our session spots. All clown dancers, when they took off the makeup, you was meeting up there. So even if you was a part of like Tommy's crew, if you wasn't on point, you'd probably get caught at one of these places. But somehow they were always on point, so we never were able to catch them off guard. I mean, I caught a couple off guard, which gave me the first, like, oh, dang, you beat this guy. Well, it's not public, so we don't care about it, but it happened. Clowning was this culture. This is what I'm trying to say about it. It had its own way of breathing, moving, doing, dressing, talking, bam, bam, serve, serve. Yeah, we talk differently. And then we started to mature a little bit. We were still clowning, though, but now you're wearing more edgy stuff. I remember you used to put these bandanas and tie them. This is behind you. And you used to bake, shake, and swing the tail. And we used to train to do this move. Imagine this now. Imagine it. People don't know where stuff be coming from. Y'all just be talking out y'all behinds. We were in the house trying to learn how to swing our tail with our behinds. What is this? What type of dancing is this? This is grown men now. It's grown men, teenage guys, teenage girls, grown women. We're all doing this. We're all in this culture. So it's like, it wasn't weird. But if you take it outside of that, it's gonna be very weird, and you're gonna be talked about. Tommy was looked at as the father of this culture because he had the dopest clowns. It was a thing to beat Tommy and his clowns. We were all gunning for Tommy, getting a spot on Tommy's crew. And we heard that he had like a junior crew, like a sub crew. Like, it was called high class clowns. So you had Tommy the clown. The high class clowns were like the step under. And you had hundreds of clown groups across like LA County, Platinum and PQ, Homeboy, Just Clowning, which like we created rivalries in this because it was so many clown groups. How do you find out who's the best? Well, you have the cream of the crop, which is Tommy, A-list. And if you're on high class, you're considered dangerous. It was like the little homies. You don't want to bother them. Or, you can be in the group that's neck and neck with Tommy. Really wasn't nobody neck and neck besides Homeboy. Like, Homeboy had a wave, and then Just Clowning had a big wave. It was whoever was at the battle zones putting in work. Then your clown group got put on. And it was a thing around the projects. So a lot of projects created clown groups, and we used to go to a lot of projects and dance without any violence, which was crazy at that time. And this clowning culture is still getting everybody away from gang violence. We're wearing multiple colors, and you just can't wear certain colors in certain areas at this time. So the fact that Tommy had a pass, it showed you that, oh, he got respect, he got power. Of course, I want to be over there and be a part of Tommy's crew. I don't want to be clowning, and then this is my clown group's color, and I get shot. Who wants to do that? We're already running from that stuff. So the fact that we could go into the Nickersons and clown walk, which was the Krump walk, and people hype it up, it was a different time. I am nobody. I had to learn how to clown. Even though I had this ability, I didn't know what it was. So through clowning, I started to see dance differently. And we would do other moves when we weren't clowning. Like, I couldn't do certain things in clowning. Like, my Harlem Shake was never the tightest. I had walks because I had fast feet. I had fast footwork. I was never the best at walks, even though I had fast footwork. I was never the best at Harlem Shaking. I was never the best at Bvck shaking. It's like, well, what are you going to do? These are not things I can excel in. So I just had to try my best. I tried my best to hang in there with the clown group, and I got around I got my respect because I did things differently. The one-hand push-up move, it's a push-up, but nobody ever did like a one-hand push-up inside of clowning. We start mixing things up, and I was already thinking of different things to do because I wasn't good at the Harlem Shake. So what am I going to do? As Krump started to like emerge, it was coming at a time after a while, like if you don't really love clowning, I could see if you're the greatest clown dancer, and we had goats of the clown dance realm. If you're in that, of course, you can clown forevermore. But for those of us who wasn't tight, like myself, it wasn't enough at one point. And when it changed for me, like I had the substance, and I just wasn't in the right place. It had to unlock. Clowning brought me to that situation where it had to unlock. And this is where I challenge all the people that say they created Krump. I would love to hear their stories on how it was created. And I wanted to match up and add up with the history that we have left, maybe the videos. And I want you guys to take my words and go back and look and tell me who you see. And then you make your own decision from that. But I digress again. Clowning, it's not getting old, but we're looking for something now. Like, okay, we're clown dancers. We've battled and battled. I kind of got a name now, a little. Everybody respects everybody. Everybody loves everybody in clowning, and it's just that type of culture. But we did battle, and we did do put-ons. We did know who was the tightest. We did kind of know if you got killed off or not. Like, these things were in existence. So Krump started to come when we got kind of like weary of just clowning around. Who's gonna make a move? I remember one party. True story. Tommy forgot about me. I'm dancing for Tommy. Let's zip past. I worked my way up. I got into Tommy's camp. I had battled this one guy named El Nino at a party, but nobody knew who I was. This is a party where I went with, it was me, it was Miho, and it was this guy named Donnell. We called him Fish because he danced like a fish out of water. Now, Miho was up to El Nino's stature. So we had planned this out. Like, if we ever run across these dudes, you got to take El Nino, and I'll take this guy. Like, I'll gun for the Larry guy. You're just making these plans when we're clowning, but we have it out for the top clown dancers. So we know what competitive nature is. And one party, it's in a back house. Like, who would have thought? We go to this party. Now, house party, you looking to dance, you trying to get on the girls. I'm looking at it like, woo, I can't wait to dance and just show these moves. We walk in there, and El Nino is in the middle of the floor, ripping, destroying it. And I'm like, dang, I didn't know he was this tight. You see him, you hear about him clowning, but he wasn't dancing like a normal clown dancer. He was bringing out the stuff. And I'm looking like, dang, we need to go, we need to practice. But remember what we said? Looking at Miho like, get him. It's just the moment. Why El Nino? He looked at us, and because your artist wasn't decided, El Nino came after me. I'm looking like, this is not my battle, dog. This is yours. You said you was going to do this. El Nino came after me. I'm scared. Like, why me? He's the one that was saying he wanted to battle you. But I'm thinking this. I'm like, we can't run. And you got Fish like, come on, Chaz. Get him, Chaz. I'm like, man, shut up, Fish. You don't tell me. You get out there. Why don't you? This is El Nino. We all know who he is. He ain't got on no clown makeup. So he's acting vicious. This nigga Miho runs into the back room. I am left there with El Nino getting off on me. He's getting off on me. La Nina was there. I'm like, forget it. I'm going to take this battle. This man clown walked like it was gliding up off the floor. He was Harlem shaking out of this realm. He was Bvck shaking, and the girls were just going. They were losing it. I was like, how are you going to beat somebody who has all this power? He seemed like a giant. And I don't know what came over me. That same thing that came over me, and I start chest popping. Now, he was using, clown walk. I had some little footwork too. I had moves I was practicing on, but I could not get at him clowning for clowning. I was not saucy like that. El Nino was the sauciest one. He was the most dangerous. I'm like, I ain't doing none of this stuff. I'm just going to do what I'll be practicing at home, which it didn't have a name, but I was chest popping. And I remember this, and I did my little walks, and people started screaming for me. I'm like, wait a minute. You can tell, like, El Nino got a certain type of screams, like the girls are going crazy, but the screams I was getting was like, whoa, who the heck? What the heck is that man just did? I started winning this battle, and I'm looking like, am I winning? How can you tell if you're winning? Jardis comes out the back, like, go, Jazz, let's go. And I'm looking at this, and my heart is like, you left me. This is your battle. It's not even mine. You want to come out when I'm winning? I was so angry. I was angry at this guy, but I had to keep battling because I had the momentum. So it started to go from there. Like, oh, Tighteyex beat El Nino at this party. It was a debatable. We don't have no footage of that night, but of course people said no way. But some people did say it, which made me start thinking like, dang, this is really possible. We can really be on the same level as these guys. It comes to a point. Tommy forgets about me. It always came to like I got fed up with something and I just snap and I do these things like, all right, I'm mad. How I'm gonna be a part of Tommy's crew? I work my way in here And you forget that I'm in here. Am I that whack that you forget about me? And I had on a FUBU jersey. I had on these big old slouch socks, and I had on FUBU Timbs because we couldn't afford the real Timbs, so I had to get the FUBU ones, and it was great. And I had on shants. These are shorts that turn into pants, so we just called them shants. And I'm like, I can't believe Tommy forgot about me. So he came back. He was like, my bad, Tight. You still want to hop out? I'm like, yeah, I still want to hop out. So I'm like, so emotional. And he's like, all right, what song you want to dance to? And there was a song out by Benzino, and it was like called Booty. And it had a hard beat. So I'm like, I want that. And I took off all my makeup. My makeup wasn't tight anyway because I didn't really know how to do it. So I wiped off my makeup. He played the song, and I came out like, I'm going to just do what I'm feeling right now. And that same thing happened. Something came over me, and I was just I came out arm swinging and violently dancing, just doing the stuff that I was practicing on my own. And people start losing their minds. And I felt so good about it because I'm like, I didn't do not one lick of a clown. And I had the formula, like I go from this to this. Like clowning taught me that formula, that pace. And this happens. This is a party where it's adults there. So it wasn't just kid parties that we was doing. So when we did adult parties or parties of people that were older, we could like finesse our sauce a little bit more to try to really cause an uproar. But I wouldn't think about none of that. I just went out straight. Before it was called getting buck, I'm trying to get buck. And I'm going. And people are going crazy over it. And my confidence was born. So I didn't want to clown anymore after that. I wanted to make my own moves, and I wanted to hop out the truck and do my moves. And I started doing that, and that's when I became this guy. Now, because I didn't want to do this, everybody was looking for something new. People started to gravitate toward it because it's like, all right, now we're clown walking, but now I'm using the clown walk to do these type of moves. Like, whoa, we can do this. It was always crazy moves in clown walk. You break your ankle. That was the craziest one, like breaking your ankles, and you had the J's, the Jordans that would make it look like, dang, you really broke it, and you're walking on it. That was the dream for a clown walker. But we was taking that, doing other stuff with it because now more is open. So clowning had this system, and it had this culture, but it was more about entertainment and having fun. Really didn't have a meaning but to, all right, we're going to go have fun with this family. We're going to go have fun with this child and give them the best experience. But we're growing. We're growing. We need more. Well, we don't just want to clown. Like when we hear music, we want to do something else. But nobody was confident enough to step out of that. And people were making up crazy things. So clowning gave us this formula, this way of doing things. And it was just time for it to change. It seemed like that system got old and it started to break. I mean, we were banging, but we were never thinking like the chest pop. The chest bang we're just in there doing this. We're not even thinking about it. It's like, how much can you do it? How much stamina do you have? And how hard is it? Like, how hard is your chest bang? Can we see? We never thought of slowing that down. So when Krump came, the pace changed. Clowning was fast. Boom, check out the technique. Boom, boom, ooh, check out the technique. It was fast, and you had to dance fast. Like, you had no time to miss a beat. But when you dance to other style tracks, is when we started dancing to Dipset, and just slower music. It causes you to, what the heck am I doing? I can't approach this like a clown dancer. I had to really take my time. And because I was already not good at clowning, it was very easy for me to just not do it anymore. I was Tighteyex the clown, but I was known for not clowning, actually. I was doing something different inside of clowning. And the people that were gravitating towards it, they started to catch it. And then people would mix it in. So Krump gradually formed. It wasn't like clowning didn't make up Krump. Tommy can't tell you what Krump is. Tommy cannot Krump. So he can't be the godfather of it. He just said he's the godfather because it got popular and it makes money. I mean, We all know what it is. But if you ask Tommy what Krump is, he will not be able to tell you unless he watches a video of somebody else saying it. He doesn't Krump. Clowning, I don't know if he created clowning. I don't know who created clowning. Maybe if you know, drop it in the comments so I can, put that person's name out there. I just know the tight clown dancers I knew were La Nina, El Nino, Swoop, Uno, Larry, and Black, Twister, Bop. Like all of these people, tightest. In my eyes, that's what I saw coming up. Like, there's nobody better than these guys. But they had a way of doing things. And a lot of clown dancers who were super OG, they didn't cross into Krump. So what happened there? If clowning created Krump, then a clown dancer should just be able to Krump off rip. But this is one of the things, people don't do their research. So you have to gradually break down. I've never seen, Tommy Krump. And if he did, I'm sure it would be very amateur level. You have to have an experience with something to create it. But the system of clowning and the culture of clowning, I believe he cultivated that because the neighborhoods needed something. They needed something frequent, and we just love to have fun. People love to have fun. They like to forget about their troubles. They love to, celebrate things. And Tommy provided that. But Krump is something totally different. Clowning really didn't have a message besides enjoyment. It was just enjoyment, but it was also a business. So it wasn't just enjoyment for the enjoyment. It was we deliver enjoyment and people pay us for it. So it became a business style thing. It wasn't just for fun. We were thinking about doing this for the long run. So we took dance very seriously. We never thought that we could be dancers on a movie or with an artist. It wasn't for that. We were just in our neighborhoods, celebrities. And sometimes that's good for people. Krump came out of this need to change. Like at some point, clowning came to be because something needed to change. Now, clowning needs to be changed. Something about this system, it needs to change. Krump was birthed out of that. I could just tell you it was a switch of energy because it was time for something new. So when you get the emergence of Krump, you get now Tighteyex is here. Now this guy is here. Even though he comes from this clown group, even though you came from these clown groups, now you're considered different. You have to take off the clown, and we took it off. I took it off. I took it off at that party. So clowning is its own culture. Krump is its own culture. It shares similarities in how it operates. The message is different. The moves are different. Everything about it is different. Nothing can sun Krump and say, you came out of this. Yeah, the similarities, but the movement is different. The energy is way different. It tells you something different when you watch. You watch clowning, you're going to have a lot of fun. Even me today, when I watch it, I'm still like, this is energetic. But Krump, I'm energetic, but in a different way. I'm like grown man energetic. Even though children can do it, but it just sends a different message. It's at a different energy. It's at a different pace. Now you started to see clown groups and Krump groups, or clown groups that turned into Krump groups. The first clown group that turned into a Krump group was a group called Cartoon Family. It was cartoon clowns. When I came and when Krumpers started to come into that organization, it became Cartoon Family. So they needed the Krump energy. They were all clowns. Hence why they had cartoon names. They were Cartoon Family, Cartoon Clowns. This is Daffy. This is Pig. This is Porky Pig. This is this person. All based off of the cartoon characters. So it was a fun time. It became Cartoon Family. Now the names mean something different. Things cannot remain the same. Things have to change. It's there. I don't know exactly what year these things took place, but I can tell you the inside details on what made them take place. I'm not good at dates and remembering exact dates. I can just tell you the time around it, approximately. So clowning, we were clowning for years before it changed. So this was a lot of writing down moves in your notebook, going here, going there, trying this out, battling at this party, battling at this soda pop, battling at club clowning. It was years of that. Like we put on for years. I was battling clown dancers with Krump moves. That is all I had. And that sparked a difference. Then you had people that didn't want to clown anymore. They gravitated to it and they started to use whatever it was before it got its name. We just knew that these moves are different than these moves. As you know, Krump was called rugged nigga dancing at first. Come on. We can't just be like, yeah, this is what this dance is called. It's a turn off. But it was all we had. But as we started to meditate, I'm like, okay, this needs a name. And yes, I did name Krump. Everybody else agreed. I named it. We were all in Tommy's Academy trying to think about a name, and it was going to be Crunk, but it was already a song called Get Crunked Up. Like, we can't just say we crunk it. They crunk somewhere else. It has to be stronger. And Crump ain't the way you spell it. That was suggested too. Like, well, why don't we, like, I was thinking of stomp. You know why? Because of the prophetic word I received. You're going to be stomping on the kingdom of darkness. What about like stomp? We got to be powerful. We're discussing it. I'm like, Krump, let's put a K on it. Things are Krump. Then we start saying it to each other. Oh, that's Krump. That shirt is Krump. Like, yeah, this is it. It fits. It works. I still name things. That was a word that was spoken out. I did not have the meaning, but the name came. And then slightly, we start calling everything Krump. It was an agreement with everybody. So it wasn't just like, oh, we all came up with the same name. We all said Krump. How you try to say, oh, we all came up with Krump at the same time. That's impossible. One said it, presented it, others agreed. What are you going to do? We all know that we're different now, and this is not you spearheading it. So Krump came. We were in the Clown Academy when we agreed on the name that I suggested, put a K on it, Krump, so it can sound like crush, crunk, and stomp. We get all of it in one. And it was that was its name. And we're still calling it Krump today. Buck, I did not make up the word buck, like buck was here. But the definition and how we use it now, people spell it Bucc, I spell it Bvck. But we got that from, we was watching footage and there was this guy named Duck Down. We was in the ring, we was in the boxing ring, getting off. And he was just, he'll say some wild stuff, but he had a very Buck voice. So everything he said just sounded wild. And I remember we was at a Rise shoot, and we was doing it. It was when I was ripping off the shirt, ripping off the wife beaters, doing the bang. And he was just going, Buck, Buck, Buck. And we used to watch that footage just to hear him say that. Like, what are you saying, man? But it's calling me. This word is bringing up something, and we just start saying Buck, like Buck. But it was a hype. It was a hype up first. And so other people from the other side, they made it Bucc, because anytime you put God into something, Negroes get crazy. It's just what it is. This is why I'm in the predicament I'm in, because I say this about God. You could clown all day. We could talk about bake shaking all day. We could do evil all day. But as soon as you say God, man, it brings out, it still has that same effect, and only Elohim's name can do that. So I'm happy to be part of that process. Like, dang, this is the same thing they did to your prophets. No wonder. It's just, so when you bring God into it, people be like, I'm off that. I don't want nothing to do. Bvck. That's how I spell it, and it has an acronym, because everything I say has an acronym and a meaning. This is why I say it. Buck is a dimension in Krump. I'm going off, but whatever. Buck is a dimension in Krump. It's for the people who are seasoned. It's a lowered core position. I could say that in the Krump terms, like how you do it. Like, how do you get Buck? It's not only get off, but it's get off from a low position, which represents humility. You have to be humble to Buck. You have to be position-wise and practically. So, believers victorious in Christ's kingdom. Watch Buck. I believe I got victory. This is where I get my victory from. How do I get it? Through humility. So when I dance, that is my meditation. And it's buck. If I get buck enough, I will get live. If you humble yourself, you will be exalted. That's it. This is how I'm looking at the things. So I brought this, you have the Christ version, and then you have the live version. It's like that with everything. You got the knockoff, the counterfeit, then you got the real thing. So Bvck is the real thing. I don't know what the other stuff is. I don't know what the other stuff means. I do this in this realm. So buckness, it came from that. We're looking at it, and it's just a word I meditated on. Like, what? This has to mean something. It's calling me. I feel something. And you just name it. I did not make up the word buck, but the acronym and its meaning now, yes, I gave it that meaning. But this word had existed way before Chess, way before Krump. We just use it in Krump now, and we use it to explain. Like, that was Krump. It used to be that. You used to want that compliment, but now everybody wants to be buck. So that's why I always ask you, what's buck? What are you believing in? What are you victorious in? Whose kingdom are you from? Are you in humility or are you in pride? So when I ask you what's buck, that's what I'm saying to you. Now, I digress. Let's move on. Clowning versus Krump. You see this in Rise. And why was that so monumental? Because now we have more options. Clowning has changed. Krump changed clowning. Clowning gave us the ability to have a system to where something like Krump can come out of. So it was like the chamber, and then the creature that came out was Krump. Okay? Now we have Krump. It's a different culture than clowning, but same principles, kind of same system. We have the big homie system. You got Big Bop, Little Bop, El Nino, and Little Rain or Baby Rain. That was somebody's name, actually. I'm not going to say who, but those who know, they know. You have these brackets, and it came from a gang culture. So Krump is more aggressive. So a lot of the gangsters was really rocking with it because it's not like little, dancing that you can't do as being a gangster. Gangsters like to look gangster. If they gonna dance, it gotta be a gangster dance. Krump was just like that for them, and it spoke to them. It spoke to them more than clowning. Let's just be real. I mean, if your daughter is watching it, yeah, you're going crazy. But if I'm a aggressive man, and I got a lot of energy, I'm gonna look at Krump like, yeah, I want to do that. But that's just me. And it came out of Krump, and it formed a different culture. Now we have our own way of dressing. We have our own way of talking. We have our own systems. Systems have been created in Krump since the name was given. It was a lot of things built into that, but Tommy didn't come up with the name. I don't even know who named clowning. So I have no reference point, but I can tell you when it came out. It came out when we were trying to make a difference. And the difference is always sparked by at least one person or a small group of people. That's just what it is. Yes, I came up with the Krump name. People are like, you're taking credit for everything. I cannot help if I made that up. I cannot help that. If that name came to me, just like I can't help I named my son this because the name came to me. Some of these things just come to me and you speak it out. What are you going to do? Like, what you going to do? What you mad for? You calling it Krump too, right? That tells you that the name is here. Now, about the story, you can believe what you want to believe about it. Clearing the air. Tommy didn't create Krump. Tommy does not know what Krump is. He's seen Krump. He experienced the power of Krump, but he had nothing to do with its formation, foundation, like he doesn't do it. Now, him saying he's the Godfather, I don't think it's nothing to argue about, but he knows. And real people that Krump, they know. And if he's doing that, I don't suggest he does that. If somebody is going to challenge him, he's going to have a hard time answering unless it's some superficial interview where he's giving like, oh, it's about this. Like, no, it's not. Clowning has a different message. What makes Krump different? Let's talk about that. Krump is not just dancing. This is what I'm trying to get people to understand. Krump is praise. Kingdom radically uplifted mighty praise. It didn't start off that way because we didn't have full understanding. Now we got the name Krump. So we're working that. Then I'm at Prophet Ruckins McKinley, the poppin' pastor, which is, he's like a father in my life. I've been dancing around, and now I will have him here, and you will get a chance to speak to him, and he will tell you things that it's going to shock you. But anyway, I'm dancing around him since I was 5 years old. Ruckus is actually my god brother. Like Ruckus, Ruckabuck. He's not just like a little homie. This is my god brother. We've been around each other since youngins, since 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old. So this is not a little Krump brother. No, we grew up together. So Prophet Ruckus McKinley, I'm at his house. And me and Ruckus, we had linked back up through Krump, found out like, oh my gosh, my mama used to babysit you. Wait, the picture I got in my house, that's you movie. So it's like, oh man. And my mom exposed this when I brought him over, and we thought we was just gonna train. And my mom is like, I know you. And the whole thing came together, but I'll have Ruckus on the show too, so he could talk about that, which was like a destiny situation. We're discussing what this means. Me and the prophet, we're discussing it. And the prophet he's saying things. And I'm like, yeah, it has to be this. And he loves Krump. He just loves dance. And we're discussing it. And he was like, maybe his kingdom run under my power. I remember this. I was like, I don't know. I'm young. I'm like, well, it has to be called something. I get the acronym. It comes to me in a dream. I went to Prophet, and he helped me get the letter. It's like mighty praise, kingdom, radically uplifted mighty praise. And the Prophet was like, yeah. And it was created right there. Now, none of the people that were so-called creators, they weren't there. So, of course, kingdom radically uplifted mighty praise don't make no sense to them. And this is what happened. Clowning happens, everybody's cool with it. Krump happens, everybody's cool with it. Until I brought it to the leaders of what we were doing at that time. Now, we were Krump already, and everybody was good with it. But when I brought it back, y'all, this is a dance for God, and we could do this for God. I'm telling you the real. My peers looked at me and said, why are you bringing religion into this? I'm like, wait a minute. It's the same thing. We're going to be doing the same thing, but now we finally know what it means. They disagreed right away, and they still disagree. It's the main disagreement. This is the only thing that separates people in Krump. What do you think Krump is? I believe it's this. Therefore, I live this way. You don't think it's that, so you're going to live that way. But you still want to Krump. Even though you don't want to accept the meaning, you still want to Krump. This is, I get very puzzled by this. Some of you guys came 20 years later, and you're talking crazy. You came 20 years later. You just got here, and you're talking crazy. You weren't even there building. You weren't even there when Krump was brought up. You weren't even around. And you already have a stake. It makes me, okay, and if you hate the creator of this, you know he's still alive. He's talking to you right now, and then I hate you, but I'm going to do the dance. It's crazy to me, and then they try to tell you how to do it. I understand on the very low level how God feels. Like, oh, dang. I can't say nothing, man, because, yeah, if the world hates you, it hated me first. That's what he said. And I'm like, dang, this is so true. But I experienced it. It puzzles me. Now we have Krump created. And it gets its meaning later. Kingdom radically uplifted mighty praise. And I bring it back excited like, you guys, guess what this is? This is God's dance. And guess what? You know who God is, right? We all talk about church. We all go into church. But leave religion out of this. Like, what does this have to do with religion? We don't dance religious. Nobody want this dance in church. I done got kicked out of churches. I done got called a demon or demon possessed. They still doing it. They still calling me that. So I'm like, what do you guys mean? Why are we acting like this change? Yes, it changes everything, but it's the same dance. We don't have to change the dance. We can still do it, but this is what it means. They weren't having it. They still not having it. The reason why clowning and Krump is different is the God factor, the praise factor. I don't know if clowning praises God. I'm not saying you can't use it to praise God, but from what I know, it does. It's not God focused. It's not. You're trying to enjoy yourself. So let it be what it is. Krump is designed. Like, this is designed to get God's energy. This is God-like energy. It's intense. Everything is now. It has his frequency in it. So it's just different from clowning. When I Krump, I do not feel how I felt when I was clowning. Some of the difficulties, yeah, it was difficult for me to clown. But I wasn't really focused on anything but other than the moves. Now when I Krump, I have to go inside of my heart. There's no other way. I can't fake around. Krump is too energetic for you to fake around. The message is different. Who it's directed to is different. You could be enjoying yourself in clowning. Krump is just not about yourself. That's not how it's designed. The arm swings, everything about it, the chest pop representing the heart, the core, the positioning, the practice of it. It all points to its creator. I collabed with God on it. He allowed me to experience this energy and then divvy it out at a time where things needed to change. And here we are again in that same season. So clowning and Krump are different because of this one thing. If you take anything else, like you can say, oh, but the moves are just evolved. Everything is just elevated. Cool. But what's the message? Oh, what does clowning stand for? Maybe the CLOWN is an acronym for something. Please let me know. But Krump stands for Kingdom Radically Uplifted Mighty Praise. That praise word, the kingdom word, all of these words, mighty, you can get uplifted from clowning, but it's not designed to be kingdom and mighty and radical. I mean, maybe on some fronts it's radical because who's going to bake shake now? But the praise part, that's what separates Krump from everything. It is the movements because the movements are different. But why are they different? Because they're coming from a different source. History lesson for you, 101. People going to debate me on it, but you weren't there, so you came too late. Make Krump praise again. It has already happened. I've already ruled on it. President Krump, and I'm out.